Okay. Um. Okay. Good morning, everyone. So, today we will discuss coursework for your semester 3, Mathematics T. Okay. Okay. This one. I think you can see the screen. Can you see the word clearly? I hope you can. Okay. But anyway, you have your own paper, right? So it is not a big issue, lah. Okay. So you can just while referring on your own paper. Okay. So this coursework, right, is statistic, and then you need to basically use Excel to help you do a lot of things. Okay. Basically everything you have done, you can use Excel. Okay. So roughly speaking, this is a coursework related to BMI and BMR. Okay. Which will be calculated based on your height, weight, and also the number of hours that a person exercise in a week, right? Not to calculating BMI and BMR exactly, but you will use it to compare the data. Okay. Okay. So I think let's read the first two paragraphs. Okay. Okay, the National Health and Mobility Survey of Malaysia in 2029 found that 39% of a student are less active. So you will find this information useful, and later on we are going to use this in some tasks later lah. We are going to use this information to carry an hypothesis test. Okay. Okay. Well, so before we start, I would say that it's better that you first I think today I'm going to finish task 1 and a bit of task 2. Okay. So watch until where you think your teacher have already told you. Okay. Because task 2 hypothesis test is in your chapter 17 or chapter 5 or the last second chapter. Okay. So it's better that first you have already known the knowledge lah, then only you can do. Okay. So to done the task 1, you don't even require any of the chapter in your statistics. Okay. Just collect data only. So what you can do now, I believe that most of you should have already look at your task 1, and you should already carry out your own Google form, right? To collect the data, right? So before you watch this, make sure you have already completed this one, A and B, which is the collection of data should be done by your own. Later, I will show a sample of data collection, which has already done, but you should not you should not take it. Okay. That means that you still have to carry out your own Google form. Okay. To collect the data. Okay. So I think by this time, right, I believe most of your teacher haven't entered chapter 17 yet. If 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 yes, then you can proceed to task 2. Okay. And to finish everything in task 2 and task 3, basically everything is in chapter 17, and something which is beyond your syllabus. Okay. A bit on the last question. That means this part. From here to here is, I believe that everything is in chapter 17. And only the last one is something that scatter diagram is something that taught in mathematics M, but not mathematics T. Okay, and how to comment about the relationship is also based on that lah. So this is an extra. This is the only extra thing I believe that you need to know. Okay, I believe in today lesson, most probably I would stop until here. Okay, and for the next part, we'll leave it to the second video. Okay, as usual. Okay, let's continue to read. Yeah. Okay, so meanwhile, research found that 43.7% of Malaysian youth are overweight or obese. Okay, a condition that often persists into adulthood. Okay, so and then you can read. Okay, this member can be reduced. Blah blah blah. Okay, and then to adopt a healthy lifestyle, an individual must exercise regularly by and be aware of their health indicators such as BMI and BMR. So you are going to see how to calculate it. Okay. So according to WHO, an individual aged 5 to 17 years is considered less active if the number of exercise per week is less than 5 hours lah. Okay. Okay. So most probably you are not going to use this indicator because your age are at least your age is 19, right? 19, or some of you maybe 20. Most of you 19, right? Yeah. Most of you are 19 now. Okay, so you are going to use the second indicator, which is an individual age from 18 to 64 years considered less active if the number of hours exercising per week is less than 2.5. So this is your metric. This is your standard. Okay. So later we will see how to use it. Okay. Okay. BMI is a metric that assesses the overall body composition by considering height in meters and weight in kilogram, okay, and use it to categorize whether an individual is underweight, normal weight, overweight, or obese. Okay. The BMI is calculated with the following equation: weight divided by the height square. Okay. And then to lose or gain weight, it's important to know your BMR. So I think most of you have heard BMI lah. Even I rarely heard BMR before lah. So most of us use BMI to compare, right? But BMR is the I think for those of you who experience a diet, right? So maybe you have heard BMR before, right? To control the calories of a day that you need. Okay. The BMR is defined as the number of calories a body needs to perform basic physiological functions such as breathing and digestion while in the state of total rest. Okay. So BMR is calculated as follows. So as you can see, we need to depends on whether you are male or female, right? Of course, male consume more calories than female. Okay. On average. So the method to calculate is depends on your weight. Okay, 9.99 times weight plus 625 times height. Okay, remember all of this is in weight is in kg and height is in meter. Okay, and then 4.92 times your age, right? So I believe that most of you are 19. Okay, so if later on in your questionnaire you can only choose one age only. That means that you only give the person who are same age as you. Okay, or you choose a specific age. I think most of you choose 19, right? So for male it's +5 And then for female, as you can see, this composition is exactly the same. So the infront part is exactly the same, but you plus a constant, the constant is different. Okay, as you can see, I think here are 166 difference. That means that on average, a male consume 166 calories more than a female. Okay, so based on the physiological design, okay, of the gut. Okay, where age is measured in years. Okay, and in this assignment, a survey is conducted to investigate whether school students exercise regularly and adopt a healthy lifestyle. Okay, so basically you will deal with these few things. Okay, okay. So what later we will do, okay, when you collect the data, right, you collect the you are not asking them to calculate their own BMI. You only collect the height, weight, and the number of hours exercise. Three things only, right? Okay, but you must make sure that their age are the same, okay, among all of them. Okay, because you are the one who are going to calculate the BMI and BMR. Okay, and then you will use it to test whether these people, okay, fulfill consistent or not with the survey provided by the government. Okay, which is this data and this data. You are going to test whether these two claims are correct or not based on a hypothesis test. Okay, whether whether 39% of students are less active, yes or no, more than that or less than that. Okay, and then when they say 43.7% are overweight or obese, so is this true or not? Based on your own finding, okay, to carry out another hypothesis test on it. Okay, all right, so let's talk about task one, the easiest one, right? Select a random sample of a same age student, and the sample size must be at least 40 for male and female student respectively. So I think some of you choose a minimum 40 lah, right? And then you can choose 50, like what I'm going to show you later. I have a sample of 50 male and female. Okay, that means not 25, 25, both 50. So in total you need 100%. Okay. So you need to collect the data, as you can see, number of hours exercising per week, weight, and height. Three things, okay? In 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 kg and in meter. Okay, so calculating BMI and BMR are done later in your file. Once you have collect a Google form, you can make it to become an Excel file, right? I believe you know how to do lah. Okay, if because I am not the one who collect the Google form. I request from somebody else, so I only have the Excel file. So but I think since I think I don't know whether you have experience or not in your PAKK, whether you have do another Google form or not. If yes, then I think you have a button to transform everything in your Google form into the Excel file, right? I hope this can be done. Okay. If you want to use Excel or Google Sheets, it's up to you. Okay. Okay, and then later I will show the calculation in the Excel file that how you can done a quick way lah. Okay. I believe most of you should already know this. Okay. So and then later we illustrate the data using suitable graphical plot. So what are the suitable graphical plot? And so far, what we can say, okay? Okay, discuss your limitation while collecting the data and give suggestions to overcome a limitation. So this is a qualitative questions, not quantitative. Okay, so let's now move on to our Excel file. Wait a moment, yeah. Let me check. Okay, so I have a. Okay, you are going to send me your Excel file, is it? But it's okay. Uh, I actually already make it into an Excel file already. No worries. Okay, let me stop this sharing. Okay. Uh, it's okay. Let me just use this. I think there are some data which is not exactly same as yours, but it's okay. Or you want me to use yours? It's okay lah. Huh? Maybe I got a bit run the value because I use Scrapper. Can you see this? Okay. Okay, I don't wish to have exactly same data. So I don't know. This is just a sample only. Okay. Whatever it is, um, we'll see how to do the question later. Okay. All right. So I hope everything you have done has been collected into an Excel file. So this one, I think at first you don't have this. This is after calculated, but it's okay. Let us delete. Okay, suppose that you collect 50 data, right? Okay. I guess this one is male because all height are quite tall. Okay, so this is male. Okay. And this is the number of hours exercising per week. All right. This is the height in unit. All right. This one is in cm. This one is in cm. Yeah? Let's change it to meter lah. So it's okay. It doesn't mean that in your questionnaire you must let the people to fill in meter. Ask them to put in cm, but then you convert it manually on your own to meter. Okay. So this one of course is in cm lah, right? Nobody has 179 meter. So what do you do in Excel, which is quite fast, that you just on another empty column, right? Okay, on the same row, let's say I want to transform this data 179 to 1.79. So what you do is you type equal and then click this. And what you need to do is divide it by 100 in order to convert it into meter. So divide is this slash symbol and 100 and enter. Then you have 1.79. Okay, and double, and then on this cell, on its right bottom, double click it, double click. I don't know why I cannot double click. It's okay. If you cannot double click, just drag it, just hold and drag it down until your last data, and then all of them will be converted to the meter form. Okay. To be consistent, I will press this to make it to make all of them become two decimal place. For example, just now 1.8, just 1.8 only, but I wish to see 1.80. And then what I do is you click this one Okay, increase the decimal. All of them make it to 2 decimal places. Okay. Okay. Later, now I want to replace this data over here. So what I do, so what you can do is you just copy or just cut it. Okay, Control X, and then paste it over here. I don't wish to have if you just directly paste it, you would have a reference error. Because why? Because originally they are referring to this. For example, 1.79 are referring to 179. But if you are going to paste it here, your original data has already gone. So the 1.79 are no more referring to 179 divided by 100 because the 179 is already disappeared. So what you do is you just paste your value only. So go to paste special. Okay, let me somehow let me Control X again. Okay, and then I'm going to paste it here. So you go to paste special. Depends on your wait. Somehow I cannot paste special. Why? Okay, let me paste special it over here. Can I? Okay, never mind. I don't think you can Control X. You just Control C. Control C and paste it. Paste special. Paste special. Choose the values only. You're going to paste the values only. And then once you press it, and everything here become the decimal. Once again, here are 1.7 only. Some of them are 1 decimal place. Make it consistent. Increase. And go back. Okay, make all of them equal. This one I can delete already. Alright. Boleh, ah? So this is the weight in unit kg. Okay. I prefer this to put at the last. Okay. So this is the data for male. Okay. Do your own questionnaire. Collect the Google form. Make it to this one. Okay. How to transform from Google form to Excel. You do it on your own. Okay. You Google it. Okay. So now we already have this. Okay, so what's the next step? Let me go back and see. Okay, so we already collect this. Now we are going to calculate the BMI and BMR, right? Okay, so this is for male, right? So we need to, in the new column, let's put BMI and also our BMR. Of course, you need to have a proper unit. So the unit for BMI is, you can go to see the equations, is weight divided by the height square. So if you are familiar in the physics, right? So using using weight divided by height square, meaning that the unit should be this one, kg divided by the meter square. So kg m, it's okay even you put kg per m square. Okay, kg per m square. Correct? Yeah. BMR. BMR is about energy, right? Calories. Never mind. Let me double check. Okay, so this is a kilojoule per day. Kilojoule per day. Okay, so we are talking about how many kj, right? Kilojoule means 1 calorie, right? So this is kj per day, because we are talking about how many how many, what is the amount of energy required in a day, right? I I don't think this is word, okay? Word is divided by time. It divided by 1 second. Okay. So anyway, the unit is like this. Okay. Next, we're going to see how to calculate. So this one is for male. So BMI is the same for both, right? So we use weight divided by height. So in Excel, what you need to do is you go to this cell and you want to calculate 81.8 divided by 1.79 square, right? So you click it, so you press equal to this divided by this and square it. I want to square, you put a head and then 2. Where is the head? It's on your shift button 6. Okay, continuously pressing, hold your shift and then 6. Then you can have your head, which is your, to the power of what? Okay, power of 2. So for example, this is the this person BMI lah. Okay, 25.529. Okay, I later we are going to look at the standard lah. Okay, how we are going to classify it as the 4 categories. Okay, I think this one is overweight, or I think it's overweight. Okay, somehow. All right, next. So you are not going to do everything right by your own, right? You have 50 data. So what we do is we just drag, right? Because humans are lazy, so we need to do this. It's not that humans are lazy, but this is more effective. Okay. So you just drag and then you have all the data, but too many decimal doesn't seem very nice. So let us change it to 2 decimal first lah. Okay. All right then. Next, for the BMR, right? It's a composition of height, weight, and the age. Now, age is a constant here, so you actually do not need to ask the person to fill in their age. You want also can, but then you have to make sure that all of them are in the same age. Okay. So let's say, I don't know, but I think you will choose 19 years old, let's say. 19 years old. Okay. All are same, huh? Okay, because the calculation of BMR depends on the age also. So calculation is equal to, in the bracket, 9.99 times, which is holding shift and then 8. This asterisk symbol, this star symbol, times the weight, this one. And then close bracket. Don't type 1 by 1. Don't type 1, don't type 1.8. Okay, unless you want to do everything on your own. Okay. And then plus in a bracket 625 multiplies your height. Okay, close bracket, and then minus in the bracket 4.92 multiplies your age. Well, your age is a constant, so this one you can insert manually. Just insert 19 because all of your data are 19 years old. So okay lah. Finally, plus 5, right? For male is plus 5, later on a female is minus 161. So these are different, or only this part is different. Okay, equal to this. Well, let me double click. I think sometimes you can double click, sometimes you cannot. Okay. So I double click, then everything will be generated. Okay. Once again, I prefer in 2 decimal places. All right. Done. Done for the data collection and also for the calculation, but this is just for male, yeah? Now I go to female. Once again, I need to do the same thing. Let me just do it. So this divided by 100. Okay. And then copy, paste specials value. This one, delete, insert back. So this is for female, 19 years old, right? So this is their height. Well, I think what I need to do is just copy paste here. Okay, would be the same. So copy this title, paste. All right. You can do the numbering if you want. Okay, 50. Okay, next. To calculate the BMI, we will use the same formula, right, as the male. So you don't need to really type it again. Just go to the male on this E2 cell, right? And then go to, not here, but on the formula bar. I hope you can see the FX here, right? On the formula bar, just copy, just select everything, and then Control C, copy it, okay? Do not adjust this. So what you do is you press Enter. So you will not adjust, it will not affect this value. But now you have already copied the formula, and then on the same on the same cell E2, paste it, Control V. Okay, all right, and then double click it. In 2 decimal places. And then BMR, same thing, right? You don't need to type everything on your own. Okay, so you copy, but you don't copy the +5. The +5 shouldn't be, it shouldn't be +5. Okay. So on here, paste it first, but you have to adjust the formula. On the formula bar, it should be -161. Okay. And press equal. So this. Okay, once again, double click. I have everything here. Okay, in 2 decimal places. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, now, we have already done task 1C. Okay. Now you are going to generate some suitable graphical plots. Okay. For this data. Well, what you can do, this one has many options actually. Huh? Okay, because you have many data here. But for sure, this is not to connect between two. Okay, You can do almost everything, I think, except for scatter plot. Because scatter plot is what required in question task 3. Okay, so you can do everything except for scatter plot, which is something, yes, in your chapter 13, right, data description, how you are going to represent this kind of data. Well, here you have many data, but of course, most importantly are BMI and BMR. Okay, so definitely you must make this into a suitable graphical plots. Give me a moment. Okay. Let me read the question for a while. Okay. Um. So okay, all of these data can be made into a plot. That means that you have five different columns. For each of these five different columns, it can be generated into a plot. Okay. Let's say you want to talk about the height, so you make your x-axis as your height, and then the y-axis as the what? The frequency, because you are collecting 50%. So you can collect them, so you can generate all your data into what you have learned in your chapter 13, right? This is now a raw data, haven't yet been grouped yet, but you can group it, okay? You can choose to do a raw data method or a group data method, okay? So if you use a discrete data method, that means you are choosing either, let me write it over here, okay? Sorry, discrete continuous data. Group data, ungrouped data. Let's say you choose an ungrouped method, right? In your syllabus, including stem and leaf is one of it, okay? Another one is um um what's the second one? I can't remember. Sorry. What's your plot? Stem and leaf and box and whisker plot. Okay. And histogram and also cumulative frequency curve. 4 different things, right? 4 different things. So this is ungrouped method. For stem and leaf is ungrouped method. Box and whisker plot is also an ungrouped method. Consider an ungrouped method. Okay. Or you can choose a group method. Histogram. Or cumulative frequency curve or give lah. Okay. But suitable data, which one do you think is suitable? Well, for me, I think all of them are okay, except for OGIF not really nice. Okay, because somehow, but it doesn't mean that cannot. I mean, everything theoretically can be used, but maybe you can add one line to explain why you think this method of graph is nice. Okay, what's the reason? What it is suitable? I would say every one of these four are okay. You choose, or maybe for the different data, you choose different method. It's okay. It's up to you. Okay. And some more, since you already done it in your Excel, you can generate all these different plots just in your Excel. Okay. No need to do it in your graph paper. Do it by hand. I mean, if you want, there's no problem to do it by your hand, but it takes some time. But at the same time, you also learn it. Okay. So I suggest that you learn both way lah. Because later on, one day later, after you graduated, you still need to learn how to generate all the plots from your Excel file. Okay, not by hand, but by hand is to practice your understanding on the data script, the data representation. Okay, so for example, let's say I want to do the height. Let's say I want to use an ungroup method that is, let's say, stem and leaf. Okay, let's say stem and leaf. Well, let's see whether Excel has a stem and leaf diagram or not. So what you do is you go to insert, right? After you have select this 50 data, and you go to recommended charts. What kind of recommended charts? Now I will tell you, of course, not these two. Okay, do not choose line graph. Line graph is worse than all these four. Line graph, when is it suitable? When you have a timeline. When you doesn't have a timeline, do not use a time graph. Do not use a line graph or something like a, I believe this is called a line graph, right? In PA pengajian you call this as graph garis. I can't really remember, but this is useful when only you have your x-axis and y-axis. Now you only have one type of data. Okay, your x-axis is not important. Do you think the order of the access to your Google form matter? The first person matter? Second person matter? Doesn't matter. You can just switch them, no problem. So obviously not obviously not this one. Well, this is also not suitable, right? Bar chart. This is only suitable when you group it. If you didn't group it, it looks very messy. Well, what is this? Let's see. This one says 1.66, 1.74. Okay. 1.5, 1.58. 1.58, 1.6, 1.74, 1.6. Well, this is what? This is a bar chart, right? I mean, more properly, this is not a bar chart, this is a histogram, right? This is a group data. Well, if you press the recommended chart, but you must recognize which one is it. This one is a histogram, but the issue is the x-axis is not proper. It's not increasing. You see, this one should be at here. 1.66 to 1.74 should be at here. So it goes like this because it assumed that to represent the largest group first. Okay. Well, this is not standard in your level, so you don't do this. Okay, this is not standard. Another one, what is this? This looks like an ORGIF. So it doesn't mean that ORGIF is not doable. It's doable, okay? But then you have to same thing you have to adjust your x-axis first. So well, this one is also not very good. Let's do it on our own. Again, select the data, go to insert, right? So recommended, not very good. So I won't recommend. So go to this one and let's see. What kind of thing you can think about here? But I don't think it's good. Okay. Let's say I want to do stem and leaf. Let's find a stem and leaf diagram. Do I have here? Stem and leaf. Okay, not here. Well, you have box and whisker and histogram already showing already pop up here. Okay. Well, let's press box and whisker and let's see what. All right. This is your box and whisker plot. Okay. Well, maybe at the first you might don't understand why is it like this, right? Okay. First of all, I think the element that you need they already give you, right? This is our box, but it's just that uh, normally you do a horizontal one, so this is a vertical one, right? So this one is the what we call is the maximum, but in the upper fence. Okay, this is the minimum in the lower fence, and I believe that you from what I can see here, it doesn't have a data that is out of the range. I mean out of the fence. Okay, for example, let's say I can edit a data. For example, let's say I change the first data to let's say 1 point, I don't know whether this will happen or not. 1.45, let's say. Well, it looks very somehow my vertical axis here, which is your normally is your x-axis, already starting from 0, which the scale I do not like because you can't see much thing. Maybe what we can do is we can set our minimum as, let's say we set our minimum as 1.2 lah. Okay, done. Still not very nice to see. There are too many gaps here. Okay, let's set 1.4 lah. Okay, then you can see. Well, 1.45 is still the minimum here. I wish to have a situation where you have an outlier. Let's see whether this Excel can give you or not. Let's say, suppose a person have only 1 meter. Now you see it. Okay, again, let's make my axis, let's say minimum is 0.8. Well, now you can see the Excel file actually give you all the information that you need. For example, if I have a 1 meter, which is obviously an outlier, and you can check that. How to check? At first, you have to find out your Q1, Q2, Q3, and then use the method that we used to do. Find out the lower fence by using your lower quartile Q1, okay, first quartile, to minus 1.5 times your IQR, where your IQR is Q3 minus Q1, to get your lower fence somewhere around here. Okay, somewhere around here. And then because your data now is already less than your lower fence, so it will not drag your lower, it will not drag this whisker minimum to this point. Instead, your minimum will stop here, which is the second shortest person. Okay, sorry to say that, but the second shortest person. But the shortest person will not show as a whisker. It become an outlier now. Okay. Well, luckily we don't have this kind of person. So that means that now what I need to do is just go back to 1.56. Well, you can still adjust this axis because your minimum is just here, and some more you don't have any outlier. So maybe what is more suitable. Maybe you can start at, for example, 1.45 lah, okay? Seems nicer. 1.45. And maximum 1.75, okay lah. Makes sense, right? So like this, you can show more, you can zoom it lah, right? You can zoom it to a better scale. Okay? Well, if you notice, this is your maximum in the fence. This is your minimum in the fence. This is your Q1, 155, around 155. Yeah, 155. Your Q3, 172 or something, I guess so. And your median, I think this is your median. 1.65 is your median. Well, if you notice, there's one more value here. What do you think is this value? 1.6342. 1.6342. If you use the box and whisker tool in your Excel, there's one more cross here shown. What do you think is this data? 1.6. Sorry. This one. 1.6342. 1.6342. I guess so. Well, I think it is your average. Okay, let's check that. So let's say I will calculate the average of the height. AVERAGE, average. So you have a quick way to calculate average, and then open bracket, select everything you have here. Close bracket. And yes, this value is actually average. Okay, so in Excel file, in the Excel tool, to ask your Excel to generate a box and whisker, it will additionally generate another one value, which is your average. It's okay, you want to put it here, or if you don't want, then just delete it. Oops, I'm so sorry. Just delete this thing. Whether you can delete only this one, it's okay. Let's format it. Well, somehow you can't see it. Uh, Wow, well, how can you change this? Format, not this one. Maybe this? No, this is just this is just a label, the value of it. Yeah, quite nice to see this, but how to delete the average? Right? Okay, it's okay lah. I leave it as your own homework lah. If you want to delete, then go ahead. Okay, to find it out how to delete only this part, whether you can or cannot. Okay, but it doesn't matter lah. But now it seems like this is a very a quite good chart. Okay, so this is the title, what? Box and whisker plot of height. For what? For female. Right? Okay, so now we have already seen how you can done your box and whisker plot in your Excel. Let me put it here. This one, let me just put it here. Okay. All right. So let us show another way of doing it. For example, now I consider the weight, but I choose to use a different different way to generate. Okay, to generate the graph. I don't want I don't want to use box and whisker again. Let's say let's go to insert, see what kind of other. I just now I see histogram. Let's use histogram. Okay, only histogram, huh? Okay, so if you look at the histogram, 45.3 to 52.5, 52.5 to 59.7, and then this one to this one, this one, this one. Okay, looks like it's an increasing order. So I think this is already quite good, right? This is already a very good histogram. Okay. Or if you want to do something else, maybe you say, okay, I don't want to have only 4 bar. You wish to have more, or you wish to adjust your x-axis. So what you can do is format axis, not format axis, but you want to reselect your what we call it as the class size. Okay, you want to change your class sign. Well, where to do it? Let's explore. But actually, you should explore it on your own. Okay, select data. No, add chart element. No, uh, maybe we can have a option. Get width. Is it this one? Let's say I make it to 3. Oh no no no. This is just a bar only. None. Yeah, 0. Okay. Not this one. I don't think it's here. I don't think it's here. Text option. Not here. Hey, go up, go up, go up. Wait, okay. What about format? Hmm. No. Select data. Y values. Data range. Show empty cell as 0. Category label. I think you need to manually set it. For example, if let's say I don't want to use this. Let's say I'm more interested on uh maybe from 45 to maybe 50, from 50 to 55 and to 60. What's the highest you have? 74.1. Okay, 65 to 70 and 75. Okay. So I want to use all these as the boundaries to see whether I can or not. Okay, let's see. Let's try it. Okay. Select data. Well, I think this label, we can add this. Oops, sorry. This. And let's press OK. Or do I have any changes here? I don't see any changes. Like data. The horizontal category axis is this. Um, what does it mean? Okay, somehow you have to explore. Okay, somehow you have to explore. Like, well, what about if you put 45 to 50? I don't think this is a valid data. Never mind, let's see. So let's say wait, let's generate again. And on the same time, select this also. Go to insert, no recommended charts. Histogram. Okay, no also. Hmm. Select the data, axis label. Can I do this? Well, I don't think so. It's okay. I will just leave it to your own. Okay. Some at this time, you just Google it. Everything will pop up, right? How to change the gap, how to change the class size, okay, and how to set the minimum. 45.3 is not very nice to see. Maybe 45 to 50, 50 to 55, 55 to 60, okay, and so on. Let's say I want to set the class size as 5, and how you want to do it, okay? So that will based on your own uh based on your own info finding lah. Okay, so go Google it lah. So simply say, so this is a histogram of weight of female. Okay, if you think the x-axis is not nice to see, maybe we can change our x-axis. Format axis. Okay. Mm, what's this? The axis option. If you change, nothing happened. It's okay lah. I also leave it to you lah. Okay. But simply saying, right? You can make a histogram. Okay. And what you need to do is just adjust the necessary component. Okay. But I think this is also is quite good. Maybe more perfect one is you have your axis label frequency and your x-axis label as the weight, and then also including the unit kg. Okay. For this one here also it's better to have an axis label. Well, I think what you can do is you can add element, go to format or chart design. You can add a chart element, which is the axis title. Let's say on the primary vertical, to add an title here. For example, if I want to say this is the height, and then in unit meter, yeah, okay. Another example here, I can also add a chart element, axis title on my primary horizontal. So this is my weight. Okay, this is my weight. kg. And vertical should be my frequency. Well, if you did not find a quick way to adjust the data here, I have a manual way to do this, which is, let's say, if I still want to make an histogram, okay, let's don't use this way again already. Let's use this number of hours exercising per week. Let's say I still want to make a histogram, but I want to do a manual histogram. Let's say I say, okay, I want to group number of hour 1 to 2 together, 3 to 4 together, 5 to 6 together, 7 to 8, and 8 to 9. I believe my data here are only numbers from 1 to 10, right? Nobody doesn't exercise per week, but I believe that there must be some, okay? So it's okay. Just assume this data is okay, right? So if you want to do that, so before you start, you should say, you should make a simple table. Okay, so this is your class, and then this is your frequency. Okay, let's group 1 to 2 together. Okay, that would have this issue. If you press 1 dash 2, they will understand as a date. So what you need to do is maybe prosophy 1 to 2. Before you put 1 dash 2, put a prosophy in front, and when you click, it will just show you 1 to 2. Okay, 3 prosophy 3 to 4. Let's see whether I can. Well, I don't. Let's manually type. 5 to 6, 7 to 8, 9 to 10. Okay, so I want to count the frequency. Also, you don't need to do it by your hand. Okay, maybe you can just count how many one here. Let's see whether you have a count function or not. Okay, count if function. Okay, count if means you want to count how many of these has a certain criteria. And if you open the bracket, okay, let's say I want to count in the range of this to here, right? I will tell you this is a very useful technique. Okay, learn it and you will find it useful sometime. And the criteria is what you want to say. For example, you want 1 and 2, right? Okay, so maybe you can say, I think you need to prosophy oh wait, sorry, count if to select this range, okay, and then comma, and then double prosophy, and then quotation, equal to 1, or close the quotation, close the bracket. Let's say this one is the meaning of you count how many of them has 1 hour exercise. 1, let's check whether this is true or not. 1, 2, 3, did I miss out any? Oh, sorry, here are 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I want 1 and 2, right? So here, you want to add another count, that's fine, and then make it to 2. Or you can put one option is you copy this and you plus this, but you change it to 2. That means you plus the count of 1 and 2. In total, you have 11. You can check this whether this is true or not. Okay. Or another option is you press or bracket this apostrophe equal to 2, close apostrophe, close the bracket. This will also give you, oh no, well, you cannot do this somehow. So let's just use this. Okay. And then copied it, paste, right? Change to 3 and 4. Okay. Let's see whether you can do everything here. Okay. Don't directly drag it unless you get other things. So let's change manually lah. Not very much only. 5 and 6. Okay. 7 and 8. 9 and 10. Okay. I believe all of them you should add up to 50 lah, right? Total is 50. Sum of this 50. Okay. Well, with this, you can now generate a histogram already. So now you select here. Okay, you select these two. You must select together. And then you go to insert recommended charts. Now you have this. Now you have this. So this is a histogram. Okay. If you want to do your original histogram, but this looks like more, but this looks more like a bar chart. Okay. If you want to use histogram, I mean, this is already good enough. But let's say if you want your x-axis to be more like what you did in your exam time, maybe let's put the boundary between them. Let's say 2.5, 4.5, 6.5, 8.5, and 10.5. I'm not sure whether this will work or not. It's okay. What about we insert a histogram? No. Somehow lah. Oh, wait. Yeah. So somehow lah, you need to change your x-axis. Okay. Still the same issue. I mean, you Google it lah. Okay. So this you leave it as a homework to you. Okay, but this is a way that you can generate histogram. Okay. This is a way that you can generate a histogram like this. But if you want to make it to look more like a histogram, so what you can do is you can adjust the gap between each bar to be 0, let's say. See, maybe weight we can increase it. No, do I have a gap between them? Yeah, I don't. Mm, but this will make it to this. Hmm. Okay, lah. This is your homework. Lah. Okay. Now somehow if you want to make it looks more like a histogram, then you have to um then you have to then you have to make no gap lah, and then you have to change your x-axis. Right? Okay, it's okay. It's okay that we give another option other than that. Okay, so this is a bar chart. Bar chart of not really bar chart. It is a histogram, but you have to make it to more to more standard one. Histogram of what we call this number of hour. Okay, exercising per week. Okay. Mm. All right. We have another thing already. All right. I will not show or give lah. Okay, or give you let's do it on your own. Stem and leaf somehow. I don't think they have stem and leaf diagram. But sometimes you have some online tool they can generate a stem and leaf diagram for you. Well, here I don't see lah. Okay, but you can try to find it out. Okay, how to do a stem and leaf diagram, and also an octave. Octaves are just now have already shown. Okay, so for now we have already shown this and this. Okay, which two are quite okay to present your data. Okay, if you find other way is okay. Find out other chart you want to try, just go ahead. Okay, this one doesn't have a wrong or right answer. It's just that more okay or more suitable or not that suitable only. Okay, people have different opinions. All right. Now I only show the first three. But actually, what is more important is BMI and BMR. These two you must show. Okay, you must show using some plots, some suitable plots. Okay, see which one you think is better. All right. Now I think it's the time for us to move on to. We have we already finished it? Task one. Yeah, I think we can move on to the task two a bit already. Okay. Let me stop sharing. Let us come back to this. Hello, 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 hello. I'm so sorry. Just now was no sound for 1 or 2 minutes. Got already. Where did I stop? Did I say something about the part E already? Have you heard it? No, it's okay. Let me just let me just say it again. Okay, well, I mean, for this part E, it's a limitation, right? Limitation of a data. I mean, limitation while collecting data. Okay. Again, I mean, you are the one who carry out the Google form, right? So you really know, you should be the one who know what kind of situation that you face. You just tell everything that you face that you think is a problem, and then state some suggestion to overcome it. I just give you some of the possible limitation. You are going to find out the suggestion on your own. Okay, for example, why we say this kind of Google form is not really okay. Okay, for example, we might we might miscount some factors that can affect the weight and height. Okay. Okay, for example, some person they only do diet. Okay, they do dieting, but then they didn't regularly exercise. Okay, so this kind of person they can control their weight very good, but then at the same time, maybe on the number of exercising hour cannot show directly um how he or she can control her weight. Okay, so this can be another factor that can affect, but we didn't count it. Another example, let's say some person has some disease that can affect the weight or the height. Okay, but we didn't consider it. Okay, this can be another factor that can affect. So how to overcome? Maybe you can suggest in the questionnaire to also include this part. Okay, but that will be another more detailed version of the coursework. Maybe in your university level you can do that. Okay. Uh yeah, I think these are some of the factors. Okay. Just now I speak another one more, but I forgot already. Okay, it's okay. This one you are going to find out on your own, so I won't say it too much. Well, again, so far we have already finished task 1. Again, during my lesson, I would not tell you how to do methodology and so on. Okay, so methodology and so on are those things that I will only do the data. I will only do the analytical part and all the discussion part. Okay. Well, basically methodology and conclusion are your report, right? And then what you have to do, right, in your methodology. I will collect data. I will generate graphical plots. Where conclusion are data are collected. Okay. And what's the result? The result are, okay, the male has blah, 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 blah. Female has blah, 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 like that. Okay. So, well, I will only do this one. Okay, let's proceed to the last part of today, which is carry out a suitable hypothesis test at an appropriate significance level, determine whether the percentage of less active male students exceed or less than the finding of a survey by using critical value approach. Okay, until here, for those of you who haven't learned chapter 17, okay, you can pause the video and watch it next time. Okay, because you might gain nothing if you didn't learn the chapter first, unless your teacher really want your coursework to be urgent. But it is unfair that if your teacher haven't teach this subject, this chapter, but want you to come up with that. Okay, so I think most of you I think most of your teacher will teach chapter 17 first, then only ask you to do task 2. Okay. Okay, so okay, so let's proceed with that. Okay, I forgot one thing already. I mean, okay, I mean here, right? So suitable hypothesis test. significance level to determine whether percentage of less active male student. Okay, this is what we concern. Percentage of less active male student. Very well, what defines a less active male student? Recall back that when we say male student are less active, scroll back to this part. This is a criteria considered less active if the number of exercising per week is less than 2.5. Okay. So that means that in our Excel file, right, we are going to find out what is the percentage of student, let's say male, okay, that have less than 2.5. That means in my data in this sample data collection, there's only integer value. But I believe that in a more natural situation, you would have 0 data and you will have some decimal data. Let's say I work half an hour per week, which is quite natural. I say 0.5. Okay. But it's okay, this is just a sample only. So you do your own data collection, yeah? What you have to make sure. Okay. And then, okay, so this define what is called a less active situation. Okay. Less active is defined by that. And then you want to see whether the percentage makes sense or not. I mean, is consistent or not with this statement. 39% of a student are less active. Do you think is suitable to make this conclusion? Okay. So I assume that you have already learned this chapter. So just now, before I come back to here, I should also show you how to do the, well, I think you have already seen how I make the count, right? Okay, you remember just now I do the number of hours exercising per week. I classify I classify if there's 1 to 2, right? If the hour is 1 to 2, and I count what's the frequency of it using the count if function, okay? And the data show me 11, okay? The data shows 11. My data lah, okay? But in a more general setting, let me show you back. Okay. I guess this. Okay, in a more general setting, for example, in a more general setting, it is not necessary you have some integer value, right? You can have, for example, let me adjust a bit, 1.5, let's say. And then maybe you can have some 0 data. Let's say this is 0. Okay. So again, right, you want to press 1 by 1. Not only just 1.5, maybe you can have some very, very strange decimal value, for example, 1.7. Okay, that is okay. So what you need to do is, okay, and including 2.5, let's say you have 2.5. Okay, now based on the definition, less than 2.5 hours is considered less active, not including 2.5. So I want to put all the person that has less than 2.5 to be considered as less active. So how I should count this? Okay, so what you do is you also use count in function. You open a bracket. It's the same range, but this time around, you are going to select those who has a number of exercising hour less than 2.5. So how you want to do it? Open quotation, now put less than, and 2.5, close the quotation. And this will show you the total number of less than. For example, 10. Let's say I got 10. Okay. Well, it's okay, right? Since I have a 10 here, Okay, let's just be honest to our data. Okay, if this is 10, okay, so now I want to get the percentage. What is the percentage now? Equal to this divided by my total number, 50. 0.2, let's make it to percentage. So it's 20%, right? 20%. So this is based on my data. Okay, I have a sample of 50, and my percentage of this is 20. Let me stop sharing and go back to the paper again. Okay. So now, okay. Chapter 16 and 17 together, yeah. Okay. So if you have already learned, so now we have we want to test on the proportion, because percentage is the same as proportion, just that we put our answer in the 0 point something form. Okay. So we want to test whether, okay, test the proportion, whether our P is equal to 0 point what? We wish to test if it is equal to 0 0.39, okay, because 39%. So we want to test whether this claim is true or not. And this later will be our null hypothesis, H naught. And based on my data, or my sample, my n is equal to 50, which is the sample size. And out of that, I have 10 of them, which are considered as less active, okay? Less active amount out of 50. So that means that my percentage now, my PS from the sample, the proportion from the sample is equal to X divided by N, which is 10 divided by 50, 0.20. Okay? This will be my data. Okay, test at an appropriate significance level. If you already go through chapter 17, you will see that most of the time they choose significant level to be 5%. You can choose other. You can choose 10%, or if you want to be very accurate, at 1%. Let's make 5% now. Okay, what kind of other things that we need? This, okay. And this already have. Okay, so now I believe that we can start our testing now. Okay. Okay, well, if you are blur now, for those of you, I mean, you shouldn't be blur lah, because you have already learned this chapter. If let's say, okay, so based on these few elements, if you were in my class, I would have a systematic way to generate all the steps. Okay, I have a SOP to generate the hypothesis test that you need to follow. Okay, but for now, let's just assume that this is for everyone. Okay. Step one, right? My always step one is to state the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis as required in your exam. Okay, so H naught is you want to test whether this claim is true or not. This is what we believe, what the old survey has done, and you are going to test it. So P equal to 0.39 is your claim. Is not your claim, but is the original claim. Okay, is the survey. Okay, the government survey lah. Hash 1 is something that you wish to establish, or maybe you want, not that you wish to establish, you wish to see whether it is true or not. Based on your survey, let's say this is your survey, I do not know whether really those of you are so honest that only 20% are less active. But it's okay. Let's be honest to our data. Let's say our data says 10% out of 50% are less active. So that means that 0.20, right? Okay. So here comes the most important part. Okay. This one often confuses students. Okay. Here you are going to put P either less than, either greater than, or either not equal. Okay. As required by your questions. Determine whether this percentage of less active, this one, exceed or less. The keyword is exceed or less. You can only choose one. You cannot say not equal. It's either more than or less than. Which one you want to choose? So this one is out, not this one. Okay. Which of these you think is the correct one? More than or less than? Based on your finding, you want to test whether it is 0.39 or it is less or greater than. Okay, here comes the most important part. Depends on your finding. Depends on your PS. If, let's say, in my situation, my PS is 0.20, which is less than 0.39. Then, my hypothesis test must test whether my proportion is less than 0.39 or not. Simply saying, I choose less than because my PS is less than 0.39. In the case, let's say my PS now is 20 divided by 50. Let's say I get 40, 0.40. Then this is already more than 0.39. Then I have to change this to greater than. If let's say I have 20 divided by 50, which is equal to 0.40, which is greater than 0.39, then my test should on the right side, right tail test. Okay? But it's okay. Now I have a left tail test. Let's just be honest with what I have. All right, this is what I have so far. Okay, so it depends on your own number. I hope you understand what I mean. Okay, if your value is different, what you are doing is totally on the other side. I will not show that, but you are the one who are going to do that. Okay. I believe that today I only be able to show one of the male or female only because the process is the same. So I'm going to just show only one. So let's say I show this. Let's say I show this one. All right. So this is what I have on the first. This is my claim. My claim based on my finding. Because PS is 0.29, which is less than 0.39. Okay. If it is more than, then this is more than. Okay. If it is more than, then this one is more than also. And it will affect your whole hypothesis test. Your step one is always the most important one. But normally people don't see it as that important. Step two. Well, as always, I will just state significance level is equal to what? Is equal to 5%. This is standard lah. During your work, you should always stat it. Okay? Even though you already stat it just now. Okay, step 3 is what we have to say. We have to say the distribution. We have to give the distribution of a sample proportion. Okay? And this is based on chapter 16. As always, you need to say if hash not is true. I will always teach you this word. For my class student, later you will see lah. You will always say if hash not is true to start your step 3. And then you say the sample proportion, PS, okay, capital PS, is distributed normally with, here comes your formula. The formula should be your, should be based on your survey lah. That means, should be your P proportion, and it is a normal distribution with your mean P and your variance is PQ over N. Okay. Well, now you following hash not, which is 0.39. And you are going to substitute your P as 0.39. N is equal to 50. Q is 1 minus P. So again, what you have? Substitution. 0.39 multiplies 1 minus 0.39 is 0.61. Correct. Divided by 50. So the value is? The value is? All right. Let's just follow what I have here. So 0.004758. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is my my mean and my variance. Okay. So for some of you, if you do not understand now, it's fine. Later you will know lah. Step 4. Okay. Step 4. Our test statistic. Okay, our test statistic. In this case, is Z, right? Z equal to, well, the formula is here. P minus P what? Okay, well, actually, I should say it more properly. Okay, here you have two values, right? One is P, one is PS. Okay, this one, let's give it another, better for me to give it another name, P naught. Okay, better to give me another name, P naught. Okay, where here still remain as P, no problem. Okay, because this is in my test. What I just put a statement only, so you do not need to care so much about this one. By right, the formula here I will change to P naught and Q naught. If you're referring to my notes, I'm putting P naught and Q naught. And more properly, yes, it's P naught and Q naught. Okay, you shouldn't put PP, it's so confusing. Okay, and this one, you should use your PS to minus your P naught divided by the square root of your P naught Q naught divided by N. That's the formula, right? Or this one, you can just say that is your variance of your PS. Well, both are okay. Okay, as long as it is valid, go ahead. Okay, So your next step, you can either substitute exactly, like how I'm going to do now. You can either substitute, your PS is, wait, let me make it a bit up. My PS is 0.29, 0.20, minus my P naught, which is 0.39, divided by the square root of 0.39 times 0.61 divided by 50. Or it is also equal to this one minus this one divided by straight away the variance of your PS, because you have already calculated this number. So no need for you to put it again, just 0.004758. Both are fine. You will get the same number. I think in both cases, you will get negative 2.7545. Okay. I used to give 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. Sorry, not 4 decimal places. I think 3 enough. 4 4 4. In my case, I get this. Okay. Where you round off to 3 dp. If you want to give more, it is okay. You give 4 dp, that's more accurate. Okay, but we just need to compare only. Okay. Well, hey, this one is part A. Using critical value approach. That's why we do like this. Okay. So this is critical value approach. 2A. And then you will see what's the next method. The one that is not very popular, but still in your exam. Okay, step 5. I mean, now not very popular in your exam. Step 5. Okay. You need to find out your critical value and critical region already. Okay. Okay. Critical value. Okay. Once you have learned this chapter, then critical, and then the method here will be okay. Because you are doing a left tilt test, okay. I mean, I'm doing a left tilt test. Depends on you. Maybe right now you are doing a right tilt test. So your method will be different from mine. Okay. But for step 3 and step 4, I believe this will be exactly the same. This one, all of you will be the same answer, because you must use 0.39, which is given by the questions, given by the survey. Okay. And your test statistic formula the same. Your only difference is at this part. Then your answer will be different. This answer, everybody is different. Critical value, everybody has the same critical value. Unless you use a different significance level, critical value only depends on the significance level. Okay, I mean, most of the time, during the practice, I won't write exactly significance level. I will put alpha equal to 5%. Alpha equal to 0.05. More standard. Okay, I will write like this. Alpha equal to 0.05. So next step is critical value. We are going to find CV, critical value, is equal to, in this case, it's a left tail test, so it should be the negative of our Z alpha, comma, Z alpha. Okay? Negative Z alpha. So what is Z alpha? Well, for this, you have to go to your table, which is a normal distribution table. Okay? And you have to scroll it to the down here, the critical values of the normal distributions. In this case, if I'm using alpha equal to 0.05, your P should be 1 minus alpha, which is 1 minus 0.05, and should be 0.95. Meaning to say that on this row, you're searching for 0.95, as you can see here. The corresponding Z value will be your Z alpha. Sorry, not 0. 1.645 is your Z alpha. Let me just show you this one. All right. So your Z alpha is 1.645. So your CV is equal to negative Z alpha. So therefore, which is negative 1.645. All right. So now comes to our critical region, step 6. Using critical value approach, you have to state everything really well. Okay. Sometimes I would most of the time I don't draw a graph because you already understand it. But this is maybe for first time for some of you. I will draw a normal distribution graph for you, and where you should reject based on your CV. Your CV is here, which is negative 1.645. Okay, this is 0. This is your x-axis. This is your fx. I mean your phi x. I mean your phi x. I mean not your phi x. Sorry, your fx. Whatever. Okay, this is the normal distribution table. This is a normal distribution graph. Okay, and your critical value is here. CV is here. You should draw out your critical region. Simple saying CR. Your CR is the rejection region. The region in which you have to reject your null hypothesis. Okay, so your CR is on the left side of your CV. It depends. If you are doing a right tilt test, your CV most probably will be here, 1.645 positive. Your CR will be here. But because my one is a left tilt test, so I'm doing like this. And label this is my CR, critical region. Okay? Describe, most of the time, you don't draw a graph, you just describe only. My CR dot dot is all the Z less than negative 1.645, which can be described by this region. Okay. Step 7, decision making. You want to reject or you want to reject. We do not say accept. We say do not reject. Reject or do not reject, hash not. Okay. Reject or do not reject. We do not say accept. This is so mathematics. I mean, this is so statistic. Okay. Okay. So yes or no? Yeah, you want reject or don't want reject. It depends on whether your Z lies in this critical region or no. Okay. Well, critical region here, let me bracket it. Region where if your Z lies in it, then reject hash no. So let's go back to our Z value, which is in our step 4. My test statistic negative 2.754 is lies in critical region or not. We can mark it over the graph here. Here is my Z, my test statistic, negative 2.754, which is already less than it. So I say a region, if your Z lies in it, then you have to reject your hash knot. Yes, in this case, my Z lies in my critical region. Therefore, I have to reject my hash knot. So we are going to reject. Okay? Or very simple, you just say reject hash knot. Okay? I mean, reject hash knot or do not reject hash knot, right? So the answer is reject hash knot. In my situation, this one, no, then you just no need to write. Okay? Well, we are almost come to the conclusion already. So we can now say the conclusion. Formal conclusion. We have two conclusions. Formal conclusion and another is a situation conclusion. Okay. It's a formal conclusion. How to say a proper conclusion. A proper conclusion. Okay, so this is always a very systematic way to say. So we have to say, since the test statistic Z equal to negative 2.754, let me put it down, okay? Let me put it down here. Since the test statistic Z, which is equal to negative 2.754, is less than my critical value, negative 1.645. Correct? Yes. Therefore, listen, there is insufficient, sufficient, not insufficient, there is sufficient evidence to reject the null hypothesis at 5% significance level. Okay? You have to follow this way to write. This is always the most proper way to write. You have to state all necessary things, including stating this one, stating your Z, which is less than this, stating there is sufficient evidence to reject hash knot at how many level, how many percent of significance level. All of this is a necessary element in your exam in order to secure your last mark, the conclusion mark. Sometimes it's the last second mark. Okay. So now we can make another last conclusion, a situation conclusion. That means that link back to your situation to make another conclusion. What kind of situation is here? So what can we say about this? That means that if I reject my hash knot, right? I reject my hash knot. I'm looks like I'm accepting my hash one. Okay. But in very statistic one, we doesn't say accept hash one. Okay. But yes, okay, we are going to write what is on the hash one. We are accepting hash one, but we do not explicitly write it. Okay. So P is less than 0.39. Okay. We are going to write this as our conclusion. We reject this, we accept this. Okay. So we are going to write this statement. P is less than 0.39. It is confident that we are confident that this 0.2, which is very far away from 0.39, has sufficient evidence to show that the proportion of exercise among the student, less active, is less than 0.39. This is what we should say. Okay, based on this. So the situation conclusion is we have to link back to the sentence. Okay, therefore, the percentage of male student who are less active. Sorry, we are doing female, right? Not male. Female student who are less active. I mean, now I'm doing female lah. Sorry. 2A is for male. B is only for female. But I believe that just now I'm taking female data somehow. Okay, let's assume that I'm doing 2B now lah. Okay, but 2A basically the same. The only difference is that your PS is different. That's the only thing. Okay, so change everything to what you have lah. Okay, the percentage of female students who are less active, right, is wait, is less than 39%, because this is my H1. Okay, it's more better again to say that at the 5% significance level. This is my H1. This one no need to write lah. But I'm just reminding you, you are going to write back what is on your H1, which is less than 39. Percentage change, proportion become percentage, then 0.39 become 39%. That's all. Okay, and of course you must have this. The best answer ever. Okay, to state the situation conclusion. All right, and then you're going to do the mail on your own. Okay, so this is what we call the critical value approach. Critical value approach. And this is what most of the time you do in your exam. Okay, so for part A and B, it's basically the same thing. Now, carry out the test in AB using another approach. So this one will be in the part 2. Here, what they mean by the another approach is your p-value method. P-value approach. Okay, p-value method or p-value approach. So this normally it's not that popular, but still in your syllabus. Okay, so you have to carry out another way to determine the answer. Okay, and then compare the consistency, and then later on you still have to carry out another hypothesis test on it, and then finally do the scatter diagram, and then comment the relationship. So these are the next thing that we will discuss on the video 2, on our discussion 2. Well, so discussion 1 will be free and public to all the students. Okay, and discussion 2 are only limited to my students. But if you are not my student, but you are interested to purchase the discussion tool recording, or you want to join the discussion tool recording, you can message me. So for discussion tool, non-student, not my student. I mean, not my student. Contact me via WhatsApp 013 313 733. Okay. And the discussion date will be on proposal. Propose will be on next 2 Saturday. That means that 2 weeks from now. I believe so. Saturday. Wait. Not Saturday, I think so. I think Sunday as well. Okay. Because Saturday I think I have some event. So Sunday on what date? 12 plus 14 is 26. 26th of October. Morning 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. The same time now. Okay. The price, I need to check back, and then I will post it on the YouTube description link later lah, or you PM me. Okay? PM me lah. Okay? And that's it for today. Okay? So see you on discussion 2. Thank you and bye-bye.